Today is our Sofia farewell. So before we go, we need more Pivnica.
Yes.
Because we just fell in love with it yesterday.
That's where we're heading.
I think we might get a sweet one this time. Check that one out too.
We made it to the airport 2 hours before our flight. I don't know what we're gonna do, kill some time. Max is watching the Bucks highlights.
Big win last night.
Thank you. Once again, we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. Thank you.
Welcome to Zagreb!
Similar to most other European cities, Zagreb is divided into specific neighborhoods, but the central part of the city can very easily be divided into two parts, Lower Town and Upper Town, also known as Capitol. So we're in Capitol right now, and the centerpiece of Capitol is this beautiful Gothic-style cathedral behind me. This is the Zagreb Cathedral, and if you're looking at any kind of aerial shot of the city, you're gonna see this as kind of just rising up above all else. This is, oh, perfect timing. This is one of the absolute masterpieces of this city's architecture. Unfortunately, we can't go inside today, but we're gonna see if we can do that later. We've heard the inside is absolutely stunning as well. And there's also scaffolding on it. We keep running into that, first with Elizabeth Tower, Big Ben, and now with this. But it still looks beautiful, and I'm sure that they're just kind of fixing up the facade like you'll see with most churches. This is kind of right here in the center of Capitol and right by the markets.
I think it happens every day. People from the surrounding villages come and bring their produce here and just set up shop. The strawberries look and smell so good. We might have to get some. You can just smell them, so I couldn't pass them up. But look how big these are. Mind you, it is March. It is not strawberry season, but they look so good. Oh my god. That's a good strawberry.
Looks like Sydney saved me a few strawberries at least.
Isn't it good?
So good. So we found out that this market is called Dolac Market, and it is indeed open every day. What's really interesting about this market is that in the summer, apparently it's just filled with wasps. And I know that may sound horrifying at first, but actually that is a sign that all of these fruits are fresh and there's no pesticides used to preserve them. So the wasps wouldn't be messing around with it if there were pesticides. So that just goes to show these are absolutely fresh as can be. And this is right in the heart of Capitol, actually kind of right in the shadow of the cathedral. So when you're making your way to like the main town from the cathedral, perfect place to stop and get some fresh produce. She had like 75% of the berries.
This one pack cost us 7 korona.
7 kunas.
This one pack cost us...
We'll talk more about kunas later.
This one pack of strawberries cost us 7 kuna. And they were actually selling a deal. You could get 2 packs for 10 kuna, but we only had 7 cents. Or 7 kunas.
So we have made our way into Jelačić Square. This is kind of the heart of Capitol, and from here you can get to most of the major tourist attractions. So it's a good place to meet. And back in the day, this is where people would meet before they would go out. Before you had, like, you know, phones and apps that you could talk to people everyone would just say, let's meet by Ban Jelačić or let's meet by the clock over on the other side. It's a central part of the city, so it really feels like a good place to start the night. The reason that I love European cities is because in America, people just go to places and hang out. There's not really places to hang out within the city. But here, if you come here on a Friday or Saturday night, there's probably people just hanging out right here without even going to, you know, a bar or a club or anything. And of course, in typical European square fashion, there are pigeons everywhere. And we got here, there was a loud noise in the distance. We still don't know what it was. And all of the pigeons just got up and just went everywhere right away. It was kind of crazy.
Just south of Ban Jelačić Square, there's this area that is sprawling with cafes. We're trying to find a bite to eat, but it's becoming impossible because we just have so many options.
There's too many options.
The options anxiety is real.
I think the next one we find, we just go in because we've passed like 8 or 9 places now.
We gotta just go for it.
All right, we decided al dente pizza pasta. We didn't really know what we wanted today. Let's just go check it out. Hopefully it's good.
There's a huge coffee culture here in Zagreb. Forget about there's a coffee shop on every corner. There's whole streets dedicated to coffee shops. I got a latte here at lunch and it's served with this little cookie. How cute. That's really nice. You know, it really reminds me of Vienna. Zagreb does a little bit. We're actually going to be going there in a few weeks, so we'll be able to do a better comparison. First impressions, major Vienna vibes with everyone sitting out on the streets, enjoying their afternoon, drinking coffee, drinking beer, and just gathering in these large parks.
So what I found really cool about Zagreb so far is that, like we mentioned before, there's these 2 parts of the central town, the upper town and the lower town, but they're so different from one another. And the upper town, or Capital, feels very medieval. It's very preserved as far as like the cobblestone streets. You're gonna have gas lamps on either side of the streets. So very cool vibes there, but then you come to the lower town and it just feels kind of like Sydney said, like a very typical European city, like a central European Vienna or Prague or one of those. Like you have the bustling streets with everyone out having their coffee or their meal, and there's just a lot of cool architecture around. So we still have a lot to see. We're still kind of just scraping the surface, but so far, really cool. And we'll talk about the prices later. That's another big bonus. So we are absolutely devastated right now. This is the entrance to the Grič Tunnel. We were going to show you all about it. It's a World War II bunker that was converted into like a museum space, and they had like a lot of raves there and stuff in the 90s. It's really cool how it's just kind of grown into this huge tourist attraction after what it was first made for. The door is closed. We can't read Croatian, so we're not sure what it says, but right now we're not able to get in. We hope that eventually we can show you because this is like one of the things we're looking forward to the most. This is really sad.
We're gonna go try another one. On a happier note, we're about to take the shortest funicular ride in the world.
So Zagreb has a lot of hills to it. This is an example right here. There's a street above us and there's a street where we are right now. So the only way to really get up there from here is either by hiking if you got your hiking boots on, or taking something like a funicular tram. So that's what we're gonna try right now.
Worth it. How much did that cost?
That was 5 kuna, so it's probably around like 60 cents. It is really short. It's
So short.
It's like 30 seconds, but if you think about like the land that we just covered, because we'd have to walk all the way around and then up the hill, and it's a really cool view when you get to the top. That is kind of a tourist attraction. Like people just come to the funicular to say, oh yeah, I was on the shortest funicular in the world. But it's pretty useful. We did it at first just as tourists, but it actually has a utility to it.
So do you think locals use this?
I mean, yeah, it's useful. There's no other way to get from there to here without going all the way around, and it's a hike, so it just makes sense. But it's funny because it just seems like a corny thing.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lady with a stroller in there, which makes sense that she would take this instead of pushing it up the hill.
It's the easiest way from A to B for sure.
How
but
cool.
It's just hilarious.
Yeah. Is hitting it just right now. It's almost sunset. Actually, it'll be sunset in maybe 20 minutes. It's the perfect time to come see St. Mark's Church. It was built in the 13th century, and what really sets it apart is the mosaic tiles on the roof. You can see there's 2 crests on this side of the roof. One is the crest of Croatia, and the other is the crest of Zagreb. And it's a beautiful church. I kept telling Max, when is he going to take me to the church with the insignias? That's what I kept calling it. And the pictures just don't do it justice. It is absolutely stunning.
So right behind me, what we're about to pass through is known as the Stone Gate. And back in the olden days, this was the passage between the 2 separate towns. But now everything's kind of all Zagreb. This is a very historic site and a very religiously important site because in the Great Fire of Zagreb in 1880, most of this area burned down. There was just absolute destruction. Like most of the great fires you think of in the cities like San Francisco, Chicago, London, it just absolutely decimated everything because a lot of things were built out of wood in those days. The one thing that remained through this stone passageway was a painting, and the painting just happened to be of the Virgin Mary holding Jesus as a baby. So a lot of people in the Christian faith see this as a miracle and a sign from God. So because of that, we're trying to be a little quiet and respectful because we've already seen a few people actually get down and kneel down and pray in front of this painting. So it's actually been completely encased and it is considered a sacred site. So we're gonna go check it out. There's actually even pews on the side. A lot of people come here to pray. It really is interesting just in a short time how many people we've seen come and pray. I imagine that there's a lot of people that plan this as part of their routine or part of their commute back just to pass this sacred site.
I think Zagreb is like, oh my god. Did you look in there?
Yeah, I saw it.
It's so beautiful.
Okay.
I was scared to go show the camera, but it was this beautiful church with all these like Jesus paintings like on every square inch of the room.
Yeah, a lot of religion here, that's for sure.
Lots of religion. I was thinking Zagreb is like, it's almost like 2 different cities, like with the lower town and the upper town. Upper town reminds me a lot of Prague by the old castle, and it's very medieval. And even though none of Game of Thrones was filmed here, it was filmed in this country on the coast near Dubrovnik, but it feels like you just stepped into a Game of Thrones film set.
Yeah, I mean, just with all the different kind of buildings that you see, like it just feels very
old.
Feels very medieval. I think it's like a specific time period you can definitely identify it with. So we're back near where we stopped off on the funicular tram, and we forgot to mention on the first time around, This tower behind me, it's actually one of the oldest and most significant structures in Zagreb. This is called the Lotrščak Tower, and there actually is a daily cannon blast that happens at noon. So I don't know if you guys remember before when we were in Jelačić Square, I mentioned how the pigeons went flying when there was this noise in the distance, and we were honestly kind of like, what is that noise? It didn't sound great. So that's exactly what it was. It was a cannon blast, and we're gonna look out for that tomorrow. Every day at noon, they fire off a cannon blast. And there actually is, as you can see at the top, there's an observation deck, but honestly, if you take the funicular up here and walk through this park, there are incredible views that are completely free. So obviously we've already walked all the way through this park, but we're gonna do it one more time just because we're just catching the sunset right now. Looks absolutely amazing. What a perfect place for the sunset. Let's go catch it.
Take the stairs down, but this is the path you'd have to take if you didn't take the funicular. We've made it to Tkalčića. It's the place to be at night when you're in need of a cold beer.
So we very recently learned that Zagreb and Croatia are really into craft beer, and that speaks very well to me as a Milwaukeean. So we had to check out this brewery. It's called Pivnica Medvedgrad. And the beer that we're having, I have to read it off the menu, Zlatni Medved. And it's a Pilsner, so it's a craft beer. It's made right here in Zagreb, and it started in 1994. Cool glass, cool logo. It's so good. It's like a very full Pilsner, and it's not gonna like fill you up because it's a lighter beer, but it just tastes so full. It's amazing.